All right, guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm so excited, about this one. We're going to do things a little bit differently today. We are not talking about hair, okay? I have invited somebody who's kind of special in my life, you know what I mean? And the one half of the Backstage Sports podcast, I've invited Mr. Joe Connor into our space. Welcome to our closet.
Are you gonna tell them who I really am?
So Mr. Joe Connor is my baby daddy, and
We don't have kids.
we're gonna get married or whatever. He like me or whatever, and we're here to talk about.
'Cause I'm saved, so we don't.
Oh
have
my
kids,
god!
you know what I mean?
So we're here to talk about something so cool. A new show that we've been watching. I guess it's not new. It's on season 11.
No, yeah,
It's not new, right?
but it's like taking off. Like
It's been trending.
Yeah, like a lot
It's
more
been trending.
in the past couple seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, so we wanted to get into this, and we wanted to share it with you guys because we're always watching it, and it's always amazing. So
Yeah, it's nuts.
we are obsessed with Married at First Sight, okay? I was originally into it, and I just love the premise. It's basically like two people. They're matched. Complete strangers. They're matched by
these experts.
3 experts. Dr. Pepper, Dr. Viviana, and Pastor Calvin, who is the realest one on it.
Yes, he is.
Him and Dr. Pepper. The other one.
Well, it was some drama.
They threw her in for sugar.
It was some drama. She actually came in because the other Joan was tripping. She was messing. She was
right. The last one. So it's always been 3. It's always been 3.
Yeah.
I'm having a moment.
It was always 3.
It's always 3 experts, right?
Yeah.
And they always match.
But the
and
one
of the
was
experts,
fraternizing.
Yes, she was.
And she had literally struck
was.
up a relationship with the John.
Yeah.
From,
you're not telling the story, but she struck up a relationship with one of the other castmates, one of the people they actually matched. And now they're in love and making babies and getting married, and that's a great story too, right?
Yeah.
So the premise of Married at First Sight is that they bring 5 men, 5 women, and they match them. They go to different cities. This season they're in New Orleans, and they just basically go through and match these people based on things they say they want. Yeah. Right? Or the kind of person that they say they are. They say that they are.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Because they be lying on it.
They be lying. Big lying. So we want to get into it, and we want to talk about who is who. Okay, so when this season opens up and they just jump right into it, introducing you to the couples. So they don't go through their interview process at all, which typically they do. And they jump right in, and I'm here for it, okay? So we jump right into Bennett and Amelia.
The weirdos.
I don't know if they're weird.
I'm calling them
I like
weirdos.
them because they're like fairies. And you all know I'm a good witch. I love...
But 2 things could be true. They could be fairies, and they can also be weirdos.
To the common man, they are weirdos.
They are.
But to people like us, they're fairies. So they're amazing. So Bennett is like a paper boy or something
I
like
couldn't
that.
Tell you what he is.
Bennett is like a paper boy, and he does theater, okay, which is so effing cool.
Yeah.
And Amelia is a doctor. We don't know what kind of doctor yet, but she calling herself a doctor.
She calling herself a medical doctor.
Did she say medical?
Yeah. Yeah, she said she was a medical doctor.
Okay. She said she a doctor. The point is, Mother said, bring me a man. I'm going to take care of him and the kids. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to feed all y'all. I got the bacon, the shoes, the clothes. Yeah. I'm your lover and your secretary. That's what she said. Okay, so.
Is that a song lyric?
The fact that you don't know.
I don't know. I don't. What is it? But she know I don't know. I don't know
First
why
of all, it's Mary J. Blige. From the great,
one
of my favorite.
Know that? Why would I know that?
No, because it's a classic.
Oh, okay.
It's a classic. Come on, y'all. Bust down. Tell him the lyrics. Okay. I was a lover and a secretary. Working every day of the week. Was that the time when no one else was there? Okay. Helping you get on your feet 11 years. I sacrificed.
The 11 years.
Yes.
Oh, okay. You gotta put it in context though. Okay, yeah, I know that song. All right.
Where's Saint Sin at? Saint Sin bust down, cause me and we always here.
Right.
So Okay, so that's Bennett and Amelia. Super cute couple. They're both really these unbelievably ethereal beings.
Yeah.
Bennett is a romantic, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And Amelia is super artsy, but is super smart and just does not believe in gender roles at all. And I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, they both super eclectic. Like, I think they're gonna make it.
I think as soon as I saw them, I was like, these are the ones. But we're gonna get to who we think gonna make it at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's next?
Woody and Amani.
Woody and Amani.
I think I would say they my favorites.
Okay, I can see why. Now, this is really a cool thing with Woody and Amani. Woody actually knows another groom in this season, which I think is super cool. They went through the process together. Yeah. So Woody and Miles actually know each other, and we'll get into Miles later. But Woody and Amani are super cute. Woody kind of looks like my dad, which is a little bit weird to me.
Yeah, he does.
So I'm going to have to ask him some questions. Okay, but I really do like them. He's really a flirty guy.
Yeah.
A lot of his friends didn't think, I don't know.
Because he was a playboy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was. And they didn't. They straight up in the first episode was just like, nah, you ain't gonna make it. They was underestimating him, but I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for Woody because I'm pulling for he's the underdog. Like, they think that he's not gonna make it, and Woody, after seeing the last episode with Woody and his mom and them, you know, sharing words and stuff, it made me feel like, okay, like Woody is a good guy, and the boy at the reception. Like, you know, when your man's is crying at your reception, giving you a speech, like,
but you know how you
know what I mean?
A man will get up there, cry, roll around on the floor, and be lying through his raggedy teeth.
Nah, that's not true. If them tears is coming, that's real.
Where's the lie?
That's
you
real.
can be good to your mans, but not good to women. But we ain't even gonna get it.
Because if he's up there crying at your
that's because he was good to him.
All right.
That's it.
We don't know what kind of man he is, right?
We don't know yet.
Right, we don't know as far as a relation. I mean, from what they're telling us, he's not a good man, right? They saying he's a playboy. They saying they don't think he's gonna make it. I'm saying from the little bit of what we saw with between his interaction with his mother and his friends, that gives me the inclination that, like, okay, Woody is gonna be all right. Because I feel like you can't do this process and just be here to just, like, mess around. You know what I mean? Like, I think Woody is doing this because he want to be serious. He want to settle down. And he want to show people, like, I could be a real, legit husband. Right.
And to your point, babe, let's talk about the process a little bit. Because I think that's really important to know, too. Yeah. So, these people get married at first sight. They don't know each other. Yeah. And they meet at the altar. Okay? Mm-hmm. And then they go on honeymoon. And they live with each other for 8 weeks. Yeah. 8 weeks, okay? And in that after the 8 weeks is up, they have to decide whether or not they're going to stay together or get a divorce. So it's such a fantastic concept. People have been doing arranged weddings and, like, arranged marriages since the dawn of time. So, like, you know what I mean? I think that it's an American thing to be like, ooh, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so, like, nerve-wracking, but I think that there's something to biodata and, you know what I mean, just wants and needs and looking at somebody's history of dating and being able to match them.
It's wild because they just taking Americans and doing it, because
people have been doing it.
Yeah. So, but that's the wow factor, because it's not common here. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was watching an Indian show. They have an Indian version of Married at First Sight. For real. And it's really on Netflix, good. And it's so good.
It's so good. But it's good for the culture, too, because then you get to see how, like, they show you how people have been married for, like, 45, 50 years, and they met, and, like, a week later got married.
And no lie, this process is actually a lot more thorough than their process. Like, they have 3 experts, they sitting you down, they telling you, and the lady on the Indian Netflix version, she's just like, okay, yeah, like, let's do it. Like,
and
you want this?
I got somebody in Timbuktu, and I got somebody over here in New York. What's up?
That's literally how they doing it. So this process is actually a little bit more thorough. So
it is a little bit more thorough. Now, Woody's wife to be is Amani. Amani is a chocolate baby. Okay,
yeah,
she is so chill. Her energy is so calm and so she just has, but she's so,
Amani got good vibes.
She really do. Even through the TV, I was a little bit like, I like her. Like, she got really good. She has warm vibes.
Yeah, she do.
She has warm vibes. And Woody, although really outgoing, I think that Amani will be able to reel it all the way in. You know what I mean? And I do think that they'll be a really good match.
I think he's gonna respect Amani because Amani give you that, like, with men, like, men know who's with the BS and who's not when they meet them. You know what I mean? That's the real, like, they do. So, like, I think him meeting Amani is like, he gonna respect Amani because she kind of gives that air of, like, I'm not with the BS. But she's also giving a good vibe. You know what I mean?
Also gives good. And I feel like she allows for room for him to be him.
Yeah.
Even though we've only been into the first 2 episodes, I still feel like she gives him a lot of. I mean, she gave him room. Like certain things, like I'm real rigid and I get annoyed by the smallest thing, and I'm like. But she just seemed like open. Yeah. And she seemed very open to the process. And I think a big part of this is that what annoys me most about this show is when people get picked to get married and then be like annoyed by the process. Yeah. Like
you knew what it was when you came into it. They tell you. Literally.
But even surprise. I feel like not only do they tell you, you should have did your homework just by watching the show.
Right.
Right? So
right. Like, which most of the couples that are on the show
probably
are on the show because they've seen the show.
Right.
So
it's like the idea that you will. I mean, I think that it's natural to be anxious about your wedding day. Yeah. It's super natural. But I think the idea to be like, what am I doing? Am I going to do this? You went through like weeks.
Right.
Of going back and forth with experts.
Yeah.
And talking to them and allowing them in your home. And now you're like nervous?
Yeah.
Like. So I want to move on to people who are a little bit less nervous, and that's Brett and Olivia. Brett is
a weirdo.
That's you. No, Brett is.
I don't like Brett. Brett is a nutball.
I like Brett and Olivia. Okay, I really like Olivia. Olivia is like this down home Southern,
super warm,
young white woman. Yes, I did say that. Super down to earth. I really do love her. She loves cats. Everybody love a person who loves cats.
No, not really.
And Brett also loves cats. But Brett...
which is weird. As a man, like, that's
not weird.
How many dudes you know just loving cats out here?
I know a lot of men who love you like
They're
cats?
Weirdo. No, I don't. No. That's a different type of cat. No. Brett has a house full of cats. But Brett is also, like, sort of a condescending dick, like, you know what I mean, like, who's also, from what his family was saying, like, was also like a playboy, like, you know what I mean. So I'm worried about Olivia because I feel like
I'm worried about Olivia too.
Olivia is mild mannered. She seems super nice, super warm, super open to the process. I just don't want her to. Because we seen
she was super open to the process.
Yeah, I don't want her to be the John from last season with the boy who used to play ball overseas, and I could just see it happening all over again.
So this is the thing with Brett, okay? I like Brett, and I like Brett because it's very clear to me that Brett was raised in a household where he kind of had to be a little bit more wittier and always had to say something sharp.
Brett got picked on, and that's what his brother said.
That's what I'm saying, and he said that they pick on him to this day. So his demeanor was brought up about because of that. Like, that's where he got it from. Like, you know what I mean? So, is he a douchebag?
Yes.
Yes, he is a douchebag.
He's annoying.
But they need love too. And I think that Olivia can provide that. I love how open she was to the process. She was nervous, but it was like natural. Like, it was like, I'm doing this, like fuck it, like what do I got to lose? A lot of y'all be out here in these streets, okay, and y'all be blaming men for being single. And the real tea, sis, and this ain't even because I'm a joint that like got a man now. I'm telling you, just like as single me, just like, you know what I mean.
Not pushing me.
Like as single me, like a lot of y'all is like that because it's y'all. Like a lot of y'all are not finding a person that you want to be with because y'all stuck with y'all type. Y'all stuck with who y'all think is the person.
Supposed to be,
right. So you keep attracting that toxic mess that you are. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got some unresolved stuff. Guess what? He gonna have some unresolved stuff too. Let's move in.
Well, we're taking it in that was a great segue to go into this next couple. Cause
I think so too.
Talk about Let's talk about Karen.
No, well, let's talk about Miles first.
All right.
I like Miles.
I like Miles too.
Miles is my favorite. Now, Miles is one thing I love more than anything on this planet Earth is just big, lovable black men. Because
Miles remind me of my boy Eric. That's why I like him, because he a big, lovable black guy.
You know what? I'll take that. I think so too. Yeah. He does though. He's so lovable. He's so emotional, and I am here for that. He's mild mannered. He's tall. He's a little bit. He a thickums. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He a big guy. He like a
Teddy
big guy.
Rough skin. But he's a tall guy, and everybody around him you can tell loves him and believes that he has a genuine spirit and wants to be a part of this kind of process. He is young.
How old is he?
He's 26. He's young. You know
and
what
how
I
old
mean?
Do we know how old Karen is?
It's Karen. I think Karen is 30.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Karen is 30. So he's young. But Joe and I argue about this all the time. I think that we have to...
No, we don't argue about... That's not an argument.
Joe and I have difference of opinions on this all the time. We have to do a little bit better with teaching our men.
That's not what we have a difference of opinion on.
What do we have a difference of opinion on this?
See.
Explain. We about to have another difference of opinion.
It's not a difference of opinion. I agree with what you were about to say. Now say what you was about to say.
I believe that we have to teach our young men that it is okay to love the women that they are with and that they don't have to seek other women in order to validate their youthful years.
Now, at no point in any of these conversations did I ever disagree with it. I don't disagree with it.
But Joe believes that sometimes you could be too young for certain experiences.
And that's two things can be true. Absolutely.
And two things can be true.
Absolutely.
But in this case, what I'm trying to get at is that I always say that you can't scale the emotional intelligence of somebody else, even if it's your baby. You can't quantify that. You might think you know, but then they get in and they'll surprise you and do something great, right? Yeah. And I think that Miles is one of them.
No. See, that's what I'm saying. You're right. And I think Miles, my position is that there is a such thing as being too young. You know what I'm saying? And as far as men versus women, I do think that women mature faster than men, and the majority of the time, most of the men, when you talk about around the age of 20 or 25, they are too young. Most of them are. I don't like to generalize anything though. So I don't say everybody that's 20, because I think Miles is mature enough.
That's what I'm getting
to be in this situation. I think Miles at 25, 26 will be a good husband because of the level of maturity he has and upbringing that he has. I just don't believe that Miles is the majority. I think Miles is an anomaly.
But what I'm saying?
But
that's the thing, right? The reason why Miles is not the majority is because we do not teach our sons.
That's another conversation.
We do not teach our sons how to act right.
That don't
period.
Change
Let's put a period on that. Little girls be wives and little boys be running the streets getting women pregnant after they've been in relationships and for 5 years. Let's talk about kids.
So that's another conversation, but that doesn't change the reality of the statement when you say that Miles is not the majority. It doesn't.
No,
you're going into the why of Miles. That's all I'm saying.
What I'm saying is the point is.
Hold on. Can we agree on that?
What I'm saying
is. Can we agree on that or no? I'm not. Is Miles the majority or no?
That's a question, y'all. Bust down.
Miles is not
the majority. Is it okay? Do you meet more younger men who are ready?
No, not at 25.
For long-term loving relationships with the one they love. Bust down.
They out there though. I'm giving them the credit. They out there.
I think they out there.
I know. I grew up around a lot of people like Miles, so I'm actually prone to believe that, you know what I'm saying, that people like Miles exist. But I also am a musician, and you know what I'm saying, like I also have been a young 25-year-old 20-year-old guy in college, and I know that Miles is not the majority. He's just not.
Right? I think that whatever. So
I'm right.
Whatever, I really can't. But let's move on to Miss Karen.
Karen is a problem.
Let me tell you.
Karen is what you was talking about.
Karen was raised by the very first AKA on planet Earth. Okay, so we already know what kind of woman Karen is.
No.
Karen was raised by the very first AKA. Okay. And she comes with a certain kind of air, which I don't think it's bad, but this is tea on Karen. Okay, so Karen is a part of this process. Everybody is going through things. They haven't had the most success with dating, so they come through this process, right? So Karen dated a man for 5 years. The man left, had a baby with somebody else. Okay.
Wait, did he? I don't think he left and had a baby. I think they were together and then he stepped out and had a baby with somebody else.
He's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
So that's what happened, right? Now she's a part of this process and things are going. They're going. And as they're going, as open as I feel people should be in this process because you signed yourself up, Karen didn't really display that. And at first, the first episode, I was side-eyeing sis. I was side-eyeing sis mad hard, okay? So the episode ends. Okay, so spoiler alert.
She gets a phone. This is a spoiler alert. So tune out if you haven't seen it.
The episode ends with her. The first episode ends with her finding out that her husband's name. So somebody in production sent the wrong name. She got to her friend thinking that the friend was a groomsman, and she figured out his name and she Instagram searches him. So we about to go on a tangent because I have to really air bitches like her out. So the issue I had with this is that what she said was, I went through his whole thing and he is not my type.
She said, I know him.
Yes,
and
she
he's
did.
not my type.
I know him. And he's not.
That's the other thing. Because where we're getting at is we find out that she lied. She also lied to him at some point. But she lied and said she knew him. So I thought that she knew him from
she knew
the city. Just like being around.
New Orleans is small.
Right. So I'm thinking like she knew him. Like she was just, but she told production, they ended the scene where she goes in the bathroom and she says to production, I know him. He's not my type. I've seen his page. I've seen him. He's super emotional. She said he was talking a lot about his emotions,
feelings,
and his feelings, or something like that.
If the last one was talking to you about his feelings, you ain't like that. That's why he went and ran to somebody else and got pregnant. That's okay. True. And I want y'all. First of all, y'all gonna bust down in the comments and say, you can't get mad at her because he wanted to step out and get cheating. If you been with a motherfucker, okay. This is just being straight up. Been married, been anything, all that. If you've been with a motherfucker and he went bust down on somebody else or whatever the case may be, you have to internalize some of that. You gotta step back and be like,
yeah, 100%.
Where was I? Now, you know when you marry when you getting with a no good ass, Like, let's be for real. Like, a lot of us meet men and we be like, I'm going to bag him, or I'm going to rock out with him, and I know he ain't no good. But he mine. You know what I mean? And I think that that's okay. But know that yours is going to be running the streets. Know that. Don't be crying up on my shoulder. You can't be in a position with anybody and not take responsibility for what you do in certain situations as well. And you can't expect to do that or not do that and have longevity.
Right.
You just can't. You have to have some kind of ownership of what you're doing, right? And the things that you're saying, the things that you're doing in your relationship.
Right.
Is he dog wrong for going out and busting down on another sis and getting her pregnant? Yes. Let's be for real. Yeah. However, I can see why I did it. You don't give a fuck about emotion? You don't want nobody to have no feelings? One biggest thing is like the idea that you're with a man and he can't be dynamically a man.
Right, because you got emotions and feelings. So what that's about? Like, you can be emotional and express yourself and have feelings, but he can't.
How do that sound?
Also, how happy are you going to be when he don't tell you nothing and it's not emotional and it's not literally emotionally checked out,
and go make a baby with somebody else?
How would you feel then? You know what I mean? Like,
but that's also not knowing. Not to say that men don't run around and do whatever they want. People, when they leave, they did go with them. When they leave, they pum go with them. That's just, we know that. But I do think that you do have to have a certain kind of understanding of your spouse. Like, I know that if we ain't talking about certain things or we're not doing certain things, something ain't right. Like, you know what I mean? And sometimes you got to dig in a little bit. Like, what's going on? Like, I'm not saying that that's not things that she did. I'm just saying that it's very clear that she longs to perpetuate that cycle.
Oh, yeah.
Because by saying that that's not your type ran down on somebody and got her pregnant.
If you was,
that's what your type did.
If you was picking right by your type, why would you be on the show? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the real issue. That's the real issue. Like, you committed to this process where you literally put your romantic future in the hands of experts, right? Because you evidently you doing it yourself wasn't working, and you don't really trust your own. So now you're kind of iffy with the trust level of, well, that's not my type. I don't want them. Like, if you was picking it, if you going by your type was 100% the right way to go, then you would have never took this chance and been on the show meeting a stranger at an altar.
Right.
He's still a stranger because she doesn't really know him.
You don't know him. None of us are our Instagram profile.
She don't know him. Yeah.
No. Oh, I went through everything, and he emotional, he this and that. But it makes you hear that stuff like that. To me, is like, why do y'all do this?
Right.
Do y'all want the, like, you know what I mean? Why even go? I hate when people say, do you want the wedding? You want the marriage? I hate motherfuckers like that. But
it is a difference.
But it is a difference.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? And I do think that that's a question, because it's like, why go through a process like this if you're not going to be all in? When I mean, he was really open to being in love at first sight.
Yeah.
He like open. And sometimes you don't like wide open. Like, and I get it. Sometimes you want who you want. You know what I mean? Everybody liked them a little Halik from around the way. Everybody do.
Let's be real. Let's be real. This is about, I don't know who Halik is, by the way. But let's be real. This is really about her not being attracted to him. Because if she would have seen him and he was cute to her, she'd have been like, all right, I tried.
Period. You're absolutely right.
When she said he's not my type,
she meant that
I'm not really attracted to him.
Which is also a part of the problem. Like, not to say that, like, people, I really do believe, I know we're going on all kinds of tangents, but I really do believe that, like, the older you get, the more your list turns from what I want to just deal breakers. He can't do this, he can't do that, and he can't do this.
Yeah, so what you need.
Right. So he can't be an excessive drinker. He has to be somebody who goes to church, and he just has to work a full-time job. He ain't got to love that job. And I know that, and to us, it might sound like, damn, that sounds sad or whatever like that. But the more, I feel like the older, more seasoned you get, the more you're in touch with your energy. So you can streamline with somebody else a lot easier. So it's not so much that, like, I need him to be all of these things, because you're not going into any relationship. And this is another thing I hate when people say, and we just had a session about this, but I hate when people say, like, you need to be 100% and you need to be 100%. That's just not realistic. Like, you know what I mean? The reality is that nobody...
No, effort. 100% effort.
No.
That's what our guy said.
Yes, he
did. 100%.
Yeah,
we believe that.
I do believe that. I believe that you should be willing to give 100% effort, but you also have to understand that he might not come through with the same 100% that you got. His 100% might have worked for him in a place that he was in. You understand what I'm saying? Your 100% worked for you in a place that you... So you might show up to him looking really 75%. You know what I mean? You might show up looking like 3/4. And my thing is like, but that's okay, right? Because you get with people and you're constantly growing. So that that goalpost is constantly moving in life. So the idea that you're going to meet somebody and he's going to be anybody. We've been rocking for years, okay? And it still ain't like, you know what I mean? But it's like the idea that you could be in a space with somebody and it's like, it's 100. That's not realistic. You still got to be, because work has to be done. Because
they saying 100%. You talking about in the sense of 100% of your
like
your potential, your potential,
right.
Like, and I think when we were talking about it in context of our own guy, it was 100% of effort. So there's two different things.
But I think most people think about it 100. They don't think 100%.
They don't. They think 100% potential.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's the difference.
That's
but
what I'm
as far as 100 effort, you should both be 100% effort. Yeah,
I do agree.
Which to me, Miles and Karen are not. They're not 100 effort. 100.
Miles is giving.
Miles is 100.
Miles is giving 150% effort. And Karen is giving 20.
Yeah.
But she said at the end that he was nice to talk to, whatever the case may be.
Whatever, Karen. Whatever.
But
the fact that her name is Karen is so appropriate for this.
It is a little bit appropriate. But we won't wait on Karen because I think it's weird. I had two different perspectives of her from the first episode to the second episode. Because at first I was like, see, I'm tired of this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bitch, slow down. First of all, like, you don't even know him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's be clear. If your shit was all that, guess what? You wouldn't be married at first sight. Right. So, like, slow up, you know? But then it was like, it's natural to be anxious and it's natural. And you're anxious with somebody that you know, you know?
Yeah, it's just her going to production and being like, I don't think I'm going to do this because he not my type and da-da-da-da. Like, that's the only thing that was corny to me. I didn't like that.
Okay, so lastly, and they last because they are least. Okay? Yeah. It's Christina and Henry. Christina is annoying as hell.
Yeah, she is.
Okay,
I pray for Henry, bro. I just...
Henry's name is Henry look like a Henry and he sound like a Henry.
He do.
And he is just white Wonder Bread ass toast.
Yeah, he toast. Okay? With plain white toast with no butter, no nothing.
Plain. Yeah. And I think they threw them in there. I really do believe they throw like couples in there because I think that he's so amicable, he's so amiable that they just threw his ass in there because he gonna go whichever way the wind blows.
Yeah. Christina is the wild card, and
she's annoying.
Christina is gonna be the drama in their little storyline, and I just feel bad for Henry because he don't deserve what he's about to get into. We all know people like Christina, and they're not great people. They're just not.
I could not agree more.
Christina is about to be a headache. 100%.
Christina is like, first of all, she looks Persian to me. Okay?
Yeah,
she really does give Kim Kardashian,
that's a new one.
There you go, because I don't even like to say their name out loud. Kim Kardashian. Circa, Paris Hilton closets. Okay? Yeah. You picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah.
Circa bent over on the beach in front of Ray J.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No still circa, bust out the room with it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's the one I came with, not the one that you know what I mean, goddamn, kind of thing. Yeah. So she give you that. She's a cute girl. She's very high strung.
Man.
And she's
very bland. She's very blah. She's boring. She was uptight at the bridal party because they was drinking.
Bachelorette party.
The bachelorette party because they had male
strippers.
But even before the stripper, she didn't like that they was drinking and like dancing. They were dancing, but this is before the stripper came in. They was dancing and drinking and taking shots and stuff, and she was just like, "Oh no, I can't do this."
This is not how I would do it.
It was. Then she went outside.
She was a wet rag.
It was She wet.
Yeah, she. But I really don't have anything nice to say. So I was gonna say something like profound, but I don't have nothing nice to say. But what I do think is that I think that they have a chance.
I don't. I'm writing them off right now. Because Henry is one of them guys where he wants you to be Christina in the streets, but in the sheets, he wants you to be a wild one. You know what I'm saying? That's how he's striking me. Like, Henry is going to be really pissed and really bored in the house.
Henry is bored. Henry is bored today.
I'm trying to tell you.
Henry was bored on his day of birth.
I'm trying to tell you.
At his graduation.
Henry don't want to bore. But guess what? Henry, how many boring men have you met with really fun and extravagant wives? For me, a lot.
Most of them.
You see what I'm saying? Henry is boring. You're right. Yeah. Henry is a whack dude. Like, he plain white bread. But Henry don't want to marry plain white bread. You know what I'm saying?
But is she plain white bread?
She's right.
I think she has personality. I just don't think
what personality she got?
I don't think it's a good personality.
It's terrible.
But that doesn't mean it's not personality there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
they not gonna make it. They're not gonna make it.
We never bet on people's marriages.
Let's bet right now. Let's bet. I'm gonna rank Henry and Christina last. They on the bottom.
Okay, so of the five,
who has the worst chances is going to be Christina and Henry.
Okay. Huh. Damn. I don't even think I have enough information yet.
But that's the point.
You know what? That's the point. That's the point.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. By that logic, I'm going to agree. And it's for so many reasons. Number one, they did not make an impression.
No.
At all. Now, last season they had a couple that didn't make an impression. They still together. But we knew they was still going to be together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they are like, they was...
Yeah, they weren't surprising.
You know what I mean? They weren't surprising at all. So they wasn't about to throw us nothing extra. But I would put Christina and Henry at the bottom. And then I would put, spoiler alert, when they get to the wedding, okay? Again, nobody's supposed to know each other. We already know Miles and Karen did.
Yeah.
So did Bennett and Amelia. And they left it at that, okay?
But so you know what? I wouldn't put them... So if we're doing a list from bottom up, right?
I still wouldn't put them at the bottom.
I still wouldn't put them fourth, right?
I still wouldn't.
I would do Christina and Henry, and then I would do Miles and Cameron next.
Karen makes me sad. Karen is so many women because we get so caught up in all the great things that we've done in life, all the great things that we've accomplished in life, that we have this cookie cutter idea of what our spouse looks like, our mate looks like, and all those memes that's going around would be like, God, just send me somebody, and it'd be like, I did, but you ain't like his eyebrows. Like, you know what I mean? That shit is real. Yeah. Like, a lot of y'all...
it's really real.
A lot of y'all is passing up the one that y'all was really supposed to be with, because... You know what I mean? You ain't like his sneakers that day.
No, for real.
Like dead ass.
Yeah,
like
true.
You know what I mean? And I think that sometimes you gotta just get into a space where you just like, what's the kind of relationship you want? What's the kind of love you want? And what's fixable? Because right? Like before we filmed this, I said I ain't like that shirt. He almost aired me out, y'all. Not this shirt, a different shirt.
I got a lot of different shirts.
It was a different shirt. But he was really annoyed with me. But it's like, these things are fixable. Can you imagine if that was like a knockout, drag out?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't do it. Like, that's silly. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like the idea that we pick our spouses based on what we think are these big things. Yeah. It's like a lot of that shit be stuff you can like work on.
That's why
you can meet a man, change his whole life up, change his wardrobe, do everything. Okay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Change his diet, he lose weight, all that shit. Like,
100%.
For real.
I didn't eat octopus before we got engaged. You know what I mean?
Now he love octopus. I'm making it all the time. Yeah. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like little things like that. But I really do love this show. I would say
gotta be fourth to me on the from the list.
Okay. Damn, not Brett and Olivia. Okay, so Miles and Karen. Then Brett and Olivia.
And I
kind of got a slide in with Woody and Amani and Bennett and Amelia.
No, I'm going. Bennett, this is easy. Bennett and Amelia will be second. Woody and Amani will be number one for me.
I think the idea that people think that Woody is not going to be the one. I think that
I believe in Woody.
The
I believe in you, Woody.
Status is like so. Yeah. A lot of these guys,
it's like
just wanting that one day. Oh,
exactly. Like, but that's what I'm saying. You just be young and living your life. Who wasn't there before? You know what I'm saying? Like, so
I don't know, Jess.
You see what I'm saying? So like for people that's counting Woody out as if you can't transition from that young and living your life independent lifestyle into, you know what I'm saying? Like now maybe to their point, this might be too abrupt for Woody. Maybe I don't know. We'll
maybe
see.
He needed like a longer transition.
Right, because timing is everything. Yeah. But I believe in Woody. I do, and so I'm putting Woody and Amani.
And they make me feel good.
I think they have the best eyes to make.
And Amani talk like this.
She do.
She really do.
But it's like a sweet
so
country style. Yeah. You know what I mean? Cute. It's not like an annoying nagging.
No. But I like her. Right. The point is that she's fire, and I like her.
Yeah,
okay?
she's cool. Amani gonna be all right.
She's gonna be all right. I really do believe that they're gonna be fine. Can I say something really? Just this has nothing to do with anything. We're gonna get back to our list. I love this show because it feels like real reality TV. Yeah. Like it feels mad real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Aside from the little things that they make them do, the emotion feels real.
Yeah.
What I love about Amani and Karen, I love the natural hair.
Yeah.
Love it. I love that brown girls are just being themselves and living in their pattern and coming through 4C, 3A, 4A, living their lives. I'm here for it. I'm like really here for it. I just wanted to say that because I'm tired of busting down on shows and the wig, the lace part is all the way back here.
Love is blind. That's a whole nother.
Me and him tired. My man be like, babe, you see her wig?
Yeah, it get bad and it's noticeable and I notice it.
Like, what is you doing?
Yeah.
So shout out to y'all for wearing your natural hair. It's beautiful. You look beautiful on your wedding day. And I'll say that.
Yeah.
But I still think that Bennett and Amelia is number one. They are fairies. They are fairies. They are like, if Bennett and Amelia, if we got to figure out why Bennett or how Bennett and Amelia knows each other.
That's why
we do.
That's why even at number 2, they're a risk for me. Because
they might even be number 3.
They might be number 5. The way Bennett was just
was
just like,
it
is
bitch.
Right. And Bennett was the happiest go lucky boy the whole time. Like, so this is a risk putting him at number 2. Yeah. I think I'm putting him at number 2 and I think it's a risk. So putting him at a number 1 is wild to me. But
it's
we'll
a risk.
We'll see, but
that's how much you watch it, and as an outsider, you feel when you saw Bennett, I couldn't think of any woman they could possibly give him.
Me neither.
Like not one, right?
Me neither.
But then you see Amelia.
But that's why they can't be number 1 because they perfect.
They perfect.
Except for that look that Bennett gave. Like
Bennett was sick.
Like Bennett was like, oh man. So,
this bitch again.
That's the look Bennett had. Like, man, we about to do this again.
Like in real life. So I'm super excited to see what's next.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I really do, and I kind of like the format where they're kind of pulling the doctors out.
Yeah.
So they're pulling. Usually, the experts are really ingratiated in the process, but it feels more now that they're letting them do it a little bit more themselves and like lessening those check-ins. And I kind of am here for that because it's like more natural that way. Because
it is.
You're going to have to leave the experts, right? So I like that it's real life.
It's real life.
You know what I mean? So I'm actually excited about this. I hope. Did you want to discuss anything?
Nah, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah. Let's go. Episode 3. Let's see what's up.
We are excited to be doing this with you guys. I really hope you guys check it out. Me and my man love talking about other people's business, okay? So, literally, I really am excited about Married at First Sight Season 11. I hope you guys are too. Check it out. Check out Backstage Sports, okay? You want to tell them your socials?
Hey, our socials is just at Backstage Sports. You know
okay, and he's at Joe Connor 33. I'm going to leave everything at the bottom and in the description box. Check them out. Subscribe to their channel, and we will see you guys later. Bye.